I do think that the pandemic has accelerated and hyped up our thinking around wealth on the other side of that. The pandemic was like a significant culture shock to a people that had not experienced anything like this. Now, the last equivalents to the pandemic would be the Second World War, which is like 75 years ago. No one remembers that under the age of 80 or whatever it is. So it has had a big cultural impact. And on the other side of that, I think that we have become suddenly aware of vulnerabilities. We could be taken ill. We could find ourselves in a divorce situation. We could find ourselves retrenched from work. There could be another pandemic. And I think people are thinking that they are very exposed because they have all their wealth tied up in, I don't know, whether it's a house or something like that. There needs to be other, more liquid forms of wealth accumulation to counter for the unforeseen shocks that we could get going forward. And you can't really blame Australians. We have not had a recession for 30 years or 29 years until the pandemic. So for 3 decades, every year is better than the last. So why would you put money aside? Why wouldn't you just put it all into housing, whatever it is? But I think that has changed. We need to be more responsive to whatever shocks or opportunities are presented to us. So I think that is broadening our perspective about what wealth is. It's not having all our money in a piece of real estate. Real estate is still important, but we want to diversify out so that should something happen, we can respond to that. It's very interesting because if you look at the modern house, the modern house over the last 15 years has had water tanks down the blind side. It's a dividend of the millennium drought, because we had a drought. People were worried. Let's put in some water tanks to provision against the next drought. We haven't used them since, I will say. And you think, oh, that's really people thinking ahead, acting strategically, investing their money in an asset that protects them against a possible shock in the future. And you think, well, that should also apply to financial planning when you think about it, or just the way you think about wealth. If there are these unforeseen and unpredictable shocks that can change your circumstances in life. So I think Australians are ready for talking about new avenues to provisioning and protecting their wealth.